get started, I guess. All right. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for taking the time this morning to come out. One of the things I wanted to first start off by doing is just taking a moment of silence to remember the victims of the horrible tragedy in Orlando. So if we can just take a moment to do that. As a reminder, tonight at 5:30, the LGBTQ Center on Wall Street in Kingston is going to be having a memorial service, a vigil, from 5:30 to 6:30 in a Puzo Hall. So if you can make it, I'll be there with lots of other folks, hopefully. I did speak with the county executive this morning, who's going to be sending their team of grief counselors to the center to be able to help anyone that has anything that they want to talk about, and so they will be there and available to the public tonight. So please come by and join us this evening. I wanted to take this time today to just kind of go over a couple of things. We've had a lot going on the last couple of months, and so we have a couple of things to just update you all on. One of the first things I wanted to just take a moment to do is talk about some of the things we've accomplished the last couple of months. I'm very excited that the sales tax contract and negotiation is concluded. I'm happy that the Common Council passed a resolution allowing me to authorize the contract that the county executive and I negotiated. It's in the best interest, I believe, of the city to be able to have that contract be finalized for the next 5 years, keeping our 11.5%, which is a good thing. We've also spent a lot of time over the last couple of months dealing with some of the costly legal issues that we've had over the last few months and be able to come to a resolution. Obviously, the biggest one has been the issue related to Chris Ray at the fire department, so I'm excited that we were able to get that accomplished. One of the things that's really important to me through all this process has been changing the culture here in City Hall and being able to create a more professional atmosphere for our staff to work under. And I think a lot of that has happened through better communication and better planning. We've worked really hard on making sure that the community have been involved in all of our discussions, involved in all of the types of decisions that government makes on a daily basis, because in the end, governments are made up of people and should represent people, and people should feel included in their city government. And I'm really proud of that. Today we're launching an updated newsletter. In the past few months they've gone out monthly, and so which is great. We're really excited to be able to get that information out, but there's just so much going on, and we want to continue to keep that connection with folks. And so today we'll be putting out our first weekly newsletter, and the weekly newsletter, as it states, will go out weekly and be able to provide folks with an opportunity to connect better with the city. They'll learn about what city events are, but more importantly, learn about some of the work that city government does, be able to find new ways to connect with city government that may interest them, learn a little bit about some of our departments, and I think that in itself gets more people involved in government. So we're going to do that starting today, so you all will see that in your inbox. And if folks are interested in signing up for the newsletter, there is a link right on our website. People can forward the newsletter to their friends and colleagues, and they can subscribe right from the newsletter, and it's a very easy tool for us to be able to utilize here. One of the things that we did also in the last few weeks is we had a big community meeting here with about 35 individuals to talk about the Downtown Revitalization Grant. We were able to submit an application for $10 million as part of the governor's goal to help revitalize our downtown environments. So with that said, we were able to get that application in, and we're very proud of our application. As a small city that's struggling to be able to turn the corner, especially in our Midtown neighborhood, this is really what's going to help put us over the edge if we are successful, and we hope we will be. Announcements are going to be made, we've been told, at the end of June, and so thankfully this is a relatively short time period. We only had about 3 weeks to write the grant, and we only have to wait about a month to find out how we did. So that's a process that is ongoing, and we're excited about that effort. Other grant-related issues, the consolidated funding application process will be taking place and starting, or ending, I guess, on July 29th. We're in the process right now of going through some different ideas that we've gathered. Going through the downtown revitalization process, when we had everyone in the room from all over the community talking about what they would like to see, has really helped inform our grant-making process. And it's, again, one of our interests is making sure that the community is involved in the grants that we're writing. And so it's important for us to make sure that that happens, and making sure that our community feels engaged and interested in that. So we hope that we'll be able to submit a good variety of consolidated funding applications for both Midtown, Downtown, and Uptown as the projects line up with the funding areas. But we are very happy with the amount of great innovative ideas we got when we created that survey online for the Downtown Revitalization Initiative. There's some really good ideas. We have lots of interest from people wanting to work with the city to be able to apply for funding, and it's just going to be a very busy summer. One of the other items we wanted to talk briefly about today is that I've been spending a lot of my time on department supervision. We've created a few new initiatives to be able to help do that. One we started earlier this year, where we did our first ever staff surveys. We went ahead and sent staff across the city government and all of the departments an opportunity to take a survey to be able to learn about, from them, what their issues are, what their thoughts are, what their challenges were in a department. And so we were able to get a variety of those back. We're very happy about that. I've been doing site visits. I've visited all of the city departments outside of this building to be able to get a sense of what they do, how they operate. We've held both team meetings, and I've also gone on site and worked with them to be able to just witness it, both going out and doing trainings with the fire department, going out with the police department on a couple of shifts, working with our wastewater treatment plant and our paving crew to really see what life is like for city employees, which I think better informs me as their supervisor, but also allows us the opportunity to make sure that as we're getting ready to go into the budget process, I truly know what they do and what they have to encounter in each and every one of the, of our departments, which I think is, again, very, very good use of my time. I've also been spending and have set up one-on-ones with our staff, and so over the course of a week, I meet with each of our department heads and major senior staff. Some of them are on a weekly basis, some of them are on a bi-weekly basis, but our goal is to be able to have the opportunity to check up with them, hold them accountable for projects and different goals that they may have, and be able to help solve some challenges or problems that they may have as they encounter their work. So it's been taken I think a really good approach to working with our staff, because we do have so many. I think we've set up about 20 or plus every 2 weeks or so, and so it's a lot of meetings, but it's a great way to connect and again keep everybody moving down the road as it's needed. We have continued to do monthly department heads, which has been great meetings where all of our senior staff get together from all of the different departments, and we talk about issues, we give updates, and we try to be able to connect and talk about global issues that impact more than just one department, so that we're kind of cross-pollinating and making sure that we're all given the opportunity to voice our concerns and also voice what we're doing as a city. And one of the things that we're also excited to be able to implement this year is that we will be hosting a staff appreciation day, and so we'll be inviting all 300 staff together to be able to have me be able to give an opportunity to say thank you for all of the hard work that all of our departments staff do, no matter what department that you're in. And so we're really looking forward to that this summer. We've sent out a save the date to all of our staff, and we'll be excited to get together in an informal capacity to spend time together. So those are some of my supervision updates that I wanted to just share with everybody. As many folks have read, with new administration comes new ideas, and we have been looking at our departments and figuring out the best way to right-size our departments, to be able to create a good structure for all of our departments going forward. And sometimes things just need to be looked at carefully and then updated as needed. And the Public Works Department is our first department that we've had a chance to do that with. We've spent the last couple of months working and restructuring that department, and we're very excited, and we were very excited to announce last week that restructuring effort, where we'll be creating a management team of a superintendent and deputy superintendent, and be able to allow for much clearer communication amongst all of the staff, and be able to create an environment where we will be successful in the Public Works Department. Mike Shupp, our current superintendent, has also announced that he's retiring. Mike has done a tremendous job with our department, making sure that it brings that professional culture. He had 30 plus years of experience before coming to the city, and he will clearly be missed when he officially leaves our payroll at the end of August. We will be going out for another superintendent. We will be advertising that position in the next week or so, and our hope is that by the end of August to be able to name another superintendent. We're expecting to have someone that has experience and the leadership capabilities of managing a department with almost 70 employees, and really be able to guide the department over the next few years. So that will be out, and you'll be notified once that goes up. And again, we'll be looking internally and externally, within both the city of Kingston and outside the city of Kingston for that position. It pays a little bit over $80,000 a year. I do expect that there'll be some other restructuring efforts, coming up as we kind of look at our city and work with the department heads to find out how we can do things better, and make it so that we can be successful in kind of the fiscal environment that we have, which is how a good lead into kind of our upcoming budget process. Many times before, the mayor would work with department heads and the city comptroller to actually create a budget and then hand it over to the common council. The common council would then hold forums to be able to make changes, amendments, meet with all of the department heads. But for me, that means that the public has no say then in what the mayor proposes. And so starting this summer, we will be providing and hosting forums on the budget so that we will be able to incorporate public interest, public priorities, public comments into the crafting of the budget, so that what we craft internally is representative of what the public is actually interested in and what the public wants to see in a budget. So we're very excited about that concept. We want to be able to roll that out, and again, there will be a series of forums at different times of day so that folks will have a chance to come. We'll probably do some online opportunities as well to be able to just make sure that we kind of get everyone's input. Now again, many of the costs in the budget are mandates, and there aren't a lot of areas where we could go ahead and move money to and from. However, it helps us set priorities, and those priorities not only can be reflected in a budget, they can be reflected in policy decisions. It can also be reflected in the type of grants that we write for our city. Another topic that has been really critical need for our community is healthcare, and many of us have seen the ongoing dispute between Health Alliance and Rochester Medical Center and Empire Blue Cross. We sent a letter to them on May 31st or June 1st and indicated our displeasure that they haven't been able to come to an agreement yet. There's been lots of other information that's come out from everyone in this community indicating that they too really are not happy with the fact that we haven't been able to come to a deal. I know that it's really disappointing as someone who has the Empire plan to know that I can't walk across the street for any routine care without it literally costing me an arm and a leg. And so we really need to make sure that the parties are coming to the table. I've had conversations to talk to both parties, and again, it obviously comes down to money, and it's something that we have to be able to make sure that all of our healthcare companies and all of our insurers recognize that we need good quality healthcare in our community, and that our community should be treated as fairly as those in, say, northern Dutchess County or those in southern Dutchess County. You know, our healthcare system should be reimbursed and you know, met with the same rates as our surrounding facilities, and that's really what it comes down to. And so I hope that they're able to figure this out in a quick fashion. One of the things that we're also excited to be able to work on is housing. Housing is going to be a priority for my next 6 months. There's a couple of items in the housing piece that we're going to be focusing on, and that I'm going to be making a priority of this administration. Is we're proposed new vacant building legislation to the Common Council to be able to hold owners of vacant buildings more accountable. We've put this legislation out in February. We got some feedback from the Common Council members, and they'll be receiving a more finalized draft at this upcoming Laws and Rules Committee meeting. And so I hope that I'll have the Council's full support in passing this vacant building legislation. It will require much stiffer fees for those that need to leave their buildings vacant for one reason or the other, and these fees will escalate. After the first year, there'll be a fee at about $1,200, and then another year it goes up and then up and up and up, and I think by the time you get to the 10th year, it's a $10,000 annual fee. So our goal is to be able to encourage these property owners to either sell the property or you know, develop the property, and to not leave these buildings as an eyesore or as a nuisance in our neighborhoods. You know, we want to be able to help beautify our neighborhoods. We want to be able to help increase the, you know, the property tax values of our neighborhoods, and these vacant buildings do nothing but decline our neighborhoods. And that also brings me to what do we do with these properties when we have foreclosed or city-owned properties. You know, here, almost to the day, the Common Council worked to create a land bank. Nothing's been done since. However, I again will be pushing this month to actually form the land bank. So there's just 2 more steps that need to be completed. I need to appoint someone, and the Common Council needs to appoint someone to an interim board to be able to have this interim board create the foundations for the land bank to be successful here in Kingston. And so I'll be putting a call out for someone that would be interested in serving as my representative. We're hopefully looking for someone that is retired in the banking industry, in the housing industry. We really can't have anyone that's actively involved in any of those industries because of numerous conflicts that could arise dealing with these transactions. We can't have an active realtor. We really, at least, I really want to find someone that used to do this stuff but is now retired. So we're going to be putting out that call. We also are going to be changing the way we do the enforcement. We really need to have a team approach here in the city, and so this coordinated effort is going to be guided by my office, and we're going to be pulling together the fire department with building safety as well as the police department, and we're going to be cracking down on problem homes that are pulling down our neighborhoods, that are causing issues within our neighborhoods. And so we will be putting together kind of our top 10 or top 20 lists, and each week we'll be grabbing everyone together as a task force and going and inspecting these houses that are issues, these multifamily units that have issues, and we're going to be going after the landlords and owners of these buildings that are letting them become a draw on the neighborhood. And so we're excited to be able to announce that and be able to get that up and running almost immediately. Just a few last things. We are getting ready for summer here in the city of Kingston, and our administration has worked really hard on making sure that our youth services are prepared and interested, prepared and ready for the summer. And one of the things that we're going to be doing for the first time, we were able to use community development funding to allow our youth that attend and live downtown near the Roundout Center, and those that attend and live in Midtown at the Hodge Center, to be able to have free summer camp and be able to have access to green space. And so we'll be busing our Hodge Center youth 55 plus kids from Midtown to Hutton Park. And they'll have free summer camp, just like the rest of the kids in our community that have gotten used to having a 7-week summer camp. All of our youth will now have access, whether you can afford it or not. We're providing it to them here in our community, and I think that that's really important. And we're also feeding them. Working with the Kingston City School District, we will be providing free lunch to all youth that are interested at all 4 of our camp programs this summer. And so no kid should go hungry, and in the summer months when school food is not available, it really is challenging, and often as a former summer camp counselor, I know that I shared my lunch many times with youth that really just brought a bag of Cheetos for lunch and a juice, and that's not a lunch. And so we're very excited to be able to partner with the school district, and again, more details will be rolled out, but we're very excited to feed them starting on June 27th. So, all right. Also, 4th of July, as you saw in the paper last week, there was a little bit of concern that we would have to move the location of the fireworks display, or we were having issues. Earlier this year, DOT let us know in May that they didn't want us to fire the fireworks off the Lauren Bridge, and we called DOT and said, well, let's have a meeting and talk about it. And so I brought everybody to the table, and we were able to agree that this year we will be able to shoot the fireworks off of the bridge, and there will be fireworks in downtown Kingston this year on the 4th of July. The fireworks will be at approximately 9:30 p.m. This was a good team effort with us bringing DOT, the funders of the fireworks, Minetti, and O'Connor, all to the table and making sure that we could come out with an outcome that was positive. We will be able to now have a year to search for an alternative location, either on land or in the water, for next year's fireworks. And so we will have, I have full faith that we will still have fireworks that will be able to be seen by the party goers and those that want to celebrate our 4th of July and Independence Day here in Kingston, which again is always a great event. It's great for families, and we're excited to have the Kingston Waterfront Business Association helping us be able to do that event this year. Ethics, as many of you have seen, the Common Council has been working with us to help rewrite the ethics law. We had proposed a series of amendments which we were going to do over a subsequent period of months. After talking to Bill Carey, the majority leader, I pitched the concept that I think it was time to start from scratch. And he agreed, and so we will be providing to the Laws and Rules Committee at their next upcoming meeting a draft version of a newly rewritten ethics law that's designed to be able to help make sure that a city like ours stays on the straight and narrow, and that we're doing everything that we're supposed to be doing, and that we're helping to protect the public faith in government. And so that ethics law, again, will be given next week for review. Firearms law. So one of the things that many have seen back and forth with the council, there were two competing laws that have been kind of going back and forth. I want to thank the Common Council for their opportunity to allow the public to debate this. There's clearly a lot of interest in our law related to firearms, and our goal is to be able to have a law that allows the shooting of firearms and has the correct precautions, the correct standards, and oversight. And that's really what this is all about for us, and that we just want a process that's standardized, that's clear, that's concise, and we use the City of Rochester's model and worked with Lynn Eckert to be able to get that law, which we believe is in the best interests of the city. And when we have these types of laws, they often do need to be updated. This law was written in 1978, and now it's time to make sure that we are creating the right kind of procedures to be able to allow these types of uses in our city. And so we are, again, the first reading will be held coming up, and then there'll be another reading, and we'll then have a public hearing on the proposed law. And so with that, I think I covered everything on my list. If anyone from the media has any questions, I'd be happy to take those questions now.
So when you're talking about the firearms law, you support the one that's based on Rochester, not the one that Deb Brown proposed that would not provide any rules about where it would be located, but just that it would need planning board approval.
Correct. Yep. I'm completely supportive of the Rochester model, and I am really proud of that work that we were able to do together with Lynn and Rennie. They did a great job. They did their homework. They spent a lot of time looking over the law, and I'm really glad that they were able to have a Laws and Rules Committee meeting before caucus to kind of help vet that law even further and be able to get that out to the public. So I'm going to be supporting that.
So after the council votes, then there will be a public hearing before you
Yes, before I sign it. Yep, there'll always be a mayor's public hearing before I sign something.
Did you make an endorsement? Are you planning to make an endorsement in the Democratic congressional primary?
I did make an endorsement way back when, so it was a while ago now. But yes, I did endorse Zephyr. Yeah.
Regarding the ethics law, you disbanded the board because you were concerned that they wouldn't be able to function properly while the amendments were being made. Now we're not doing any amendments, you're just going to rewrite the law itself.
Yeah.
So are you going to appoint an interim board to act under the current law? Or?
We've only, again, with the ethics, I do believe that there needs to be changes, and in our proposed law, we will be providing those to folks, but I don't believe that the mayor, I don't think the board should necessarily serve at my pleasure, because again, serving at my pleasure means that I can remove them whenever I want. And I think that the ethics board should have appointments, and they should be for terms. And I do believe that the common council should have some input on who's all of those ethics board members are. Right now, the mayor has the sole oversight, and God forbid you have a mayor that has an ethical issue, that doesn't seem fair to me. And I think that there should be an opportunity to make sure that you've got input from both sides of the branches of government, and that's really what I'm proposing, and it's what we're going to hopefully get passed by the Common Council. We've had very few ethics complaints. They've all kind of centered around one individual, over the last couple of years. So again, as I said, if we do have any ethics complaints come in, I'd be more than happy to appoint a board. Again, as the rules are currently written, they serve at my pleasure. They could be appointed like that and disbanded like that. And so I think that it's a glitch in the law, and again, why it needs to be rewritten. And so we hope to do that. Again, Laws and Rules will review this proposed ethics law next week. If they like it, or we'll hopefully be able to get it passed very, very soon.
On the question.
I'm just taking questions from the media. If you have a question, you can make an appointment in my office. Okay.
It has to do with the ethics law.
It's okay. You can make an appointment. This is just for the media today.
No,
Do you guys have any other questions?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
When you were running for office, you mentioned that you wanted to do a composting program. Anything on that since you?
Sure. Actually, as part of the CFA process, we're currently looking at municipal composting as an opportunity again. We worked with the county for the last 2 years to write a grant to do composting for a municipality, mostly restaurants. And so we are again looking at that to see if, again, working with the county to see if that is something we could apply for again this year. We do hope that some opportunities we may actually have to do would be, backyard composting. It's really hard to do full-scale municipal composting, but we got to wait until we get all of our trash bins out and recycling bins out to everybody in the city that needs them, and we're not there yet. We still are working on getting the trash bins out.
And on a different matter, do you know what the status is of the Elizabeth Manor boarding house that's been closed for several months now?
My understanding is that it's been reopened partially. I believe that there's at least a first floor occupancy, but I don't know the details, but I do believe it is. I think our building department did give them the ability, and you could always check with them to know for sure, but I think that they are open partially.
bed bugs.
Bed bugs, yep.
Is there a bed bug crisis in Kingston?
So there is a coalition of folks that have come together about the issue of bed bugs. They've worked to do education. They've worked to provide literature. They've met with all of our staff. They've met with the building department. And one of the things that we as a city do is that if there are bed bug problems, tenants and or the owners of the buildings can come to the building department. We'll go and we'll help fine, fee, write letters. And that's really it's a good thing that we're able to do that. It's actually a change in state law that allowed us to do that. Actually, just recently, even though we were doing it anyway, we now are able to do it officially. And so that's I don't necessarily think it's a widespread epidemic.
Yeah, pardon the pun, has there been an uptick in bed bug complaints?
I think that folks are just learning now what the best practices are. Many of our shelters are implementing dryers so that when someone comes to live in a shelter, they put all their stuff in a dryer. It's high heat, kills the bed bugs, because often people move from place to place. It's always just something to be careful of. Obviously, I think across the country there's been an uptick in bed bugs in general. And so you just have to be wary of picking things up off at a yard sale, and maybe that couch has got more than what it bargains for, And so you just have to really be much more diligent and careful nowadays. But we're just trying to make sure that we have the tools in place, and our building department, we believe at this point, does. We respond to the calls when needed and help enforce our multifamily unit folks to help take care of them.
Going back to summer recreation really quickly, you said that you're going to be providing free summer camp for the kids in Midtown now?
Yep.
And that you're also going to be feeding kids at operator camps?
Yes.
So what does that mean for this city's budget? Do you have grants for that? Or
Sure. So the way it actually works is there is a program provided by the federal government called the Summer Meals Program, basically, and you can have a nonprofit or a school district be a sponsor site, and if you're youth qualify, which many of our youth in our community do because of free or reduced lunch, they can feed them at no cost to us and at no cost to them for the summer, for however many weeks you have a program. And so our program's 7 weeks long, and we're very excited to be able to do that for the first time in a couple of decades. When I was actually a camper in the late 80s, our city had participated in something very similar, but it hasn't been since then. Okay. If no other questions from the media, thank you guys all for coming today.